This sermon comes with a disclaimer. The events it remarks upon involve a Palestinian Jew born into a nation under occupation, the threat of violence a daily menace to the extent that, as a young child, he flees a bloodthirsty leader with his family to a foreign nation where he seeks asylum as a refugee. I don't intend to preach politics to you tonight, but the analogue is so stark between the birth of Jesus and the world's current troubles that I can't promise it won't sound a little like I am. So buckle up. Let me unpack that first claim. Jesus was born into a Jewish family, raised a Jewish boy, lived his life a Jewish man. He was born into the area at the time named Palestine, which was under the governance of the occupying Roman force. Violence against the weak, against the aged, women and children, was a regular occurrence. And Joseph, having been warned in a dream of the violence Herod wanted to mete out on young boys in the area, fled with his family as refugees to Egypt, where they sought asylum. Lest you should ever think that the Bible is a story of things long past, those exact same scenarios are playing out in our world today. Some born in the Holy Land today are born into a nation under occupation. The threat of violence has been replaced by open warfare. Both in that nation and around the globe, people flee their homes because of disaster, war, or simply to improve their lot, undertaking perilous journeys and throwing themselves on the mercy of foreign nations. Indeed, if you use the search terms Palestine, Israel, war, refugees, and despotic leaders, you'd get hits on 90% of the stories in the news. Short of volcanoes in Iceland, the Christmas narrative has got just about everything covered. And for the sake of completeness, because I know that some of you will now be wondering, yes, the Bible does have some volcanoes, and no, Iceland does not get a mention. So let's turn our mind to these despotic leaders. You know who I'm talking about. I didn't actually have anyone in mind, but whoever you just thought of when I said it is as good example as any other. They are in no shortage. There are enough to go around, and they never have been in shortage. When Jesus is born, the man in charge is Herod. He's an egotist, but a successful one. He's a great builder. The western wall of the Temple Mount that still stands today in Jerusalem was erected at his command. He was a lavish man, though, spending beyond the means of the coffers to secure his legacy and taxing the people harshly to make ends meet. And above all else, Herod desired power. And when in his old age, he's well into his 70s by the time Jesus is born, when this old man is told that a new king is being born, he shows just how much he loves power. He is willing to kill all the children in the province in order to hang on to it. If you ever wanted evidence that we've made progress as a society, then here it is. We are not like Herod anymore. 20 centuries of technological advances have made us fantastically more efficient at killing children. Herod let Jesus slip by. Our heat-seeking capabilities ensure that mistake wouldn't be made today. Herod, in his wildest dreams, could never have imagined the ability we now possess to end newborn life in a heartbeat. On the 7th of October, just such evil took place. Hamas killed 33 children in a single night and took a further 40 hostage. Since then, the Israeli Defense Force has been killing a child in Gaza on average once every 10 minutes. Some 8,000 children and counting. Herod would be delighted. Not that Christmassy, this sermon, you might be thinking. But I tell you, it is very Christmassy. Because it was into this disturbing darkness that Jesus was born. It was because of this capacity we have to be incomprehensibly barbaric to one another that Jesus was born. Who, you might think, would bring a baby into a world like this? Well, it turns out that one more baby was just what we needed. This new life, in its utter fragility and defenselessness, this new life completely reliant upon others, unable to care for itself or defend against the most straightforward assault, this squidgy, inarticulate mess without even a tooth to bite with. This baby turns out to be our salvation. There will be babies born this night in Palestine and Israel. And do you know, you could swap them one for the other and it would make not that much difference. Babies don't come pre-programmed with a nationality or a religious profession. They don't emerge from the womb knowing who to hate. Funny that so little a thing should be the salvation of us all. Salvation, it turns out, is not won by strength of arms, by who inflicts the greater casualties. There is no level of security that is sufficient to ensure our safety. No amount of power or money or belongings that won't leave us yearning for a bit more. There is no satisfaction to be found in the pursuit of human dominance. The muscles of your arms will atrophy. Armies will be routed. Your belongings will rust and perish. Even empires will crumble. If you place your hope in these things, it is certain to fail. Our hope, in this darkest of nights, is in the eternal babe at Bethlehem. Amen.